Welcome back. Well, a new survey has unveiled Australia's hottest jobs of 2015, and it appears companies are seeking to find the best talent in a bid to give them competitive advantage over local and international rivals. So what are some of the most in-demand roles? Well, CTPartners Asia Pacific Managing Partner Jason Johnson is here to tell us just that. Jason Johnson, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Great to be here.
What are some of the hot jobs that we should all be looking to get?
Well, 2015 is all about the 4 Ds. So we're going to see the emergence of data, digital, disruption and diversity really driving the mega trends around job creation in Australia and globally. Shall I start with data?
Yeah.
The emergence of big data is a trend, a mega trend that's impacting all Western economies right now. It's going to drive the biggest jobs growth around the world and certainly in Australia. And what that means is essentially any organisation, whether you're a major bank like the Commonwealth Bank or a major grocery chain like Woolworths, you've got this enormous amount of data, and there's a huge competitive advantage to those organisations that can segment that data and start to build customer propositions targeted at particular customer groups.
So it's having the ability to analyse, so the analytic sort of roles associated with big data you seeing as being very much in demand.
Indeed, but also what it means is that the Chief Marketing Officer of today is quite different from that of 5 years ago. Whilst they need to understand the conventional elements of marketing, they also have to be much more analytic than they used to be. They need to understand how to synthesise that data and then actually make some quality decisions with all of the data at hand.
Is this a new shift? Is this a new trend that we're seeing?
It's absolutely a trend. It's a global trend, and it's here to stay. So,
yeah.
You know, as I advise my 6-year-old twin girls on their career opportunities, this is certainly one of the avenues I'd be recommending to them.
And it's a global marketplace, isn't it? So it's a case of these are trends, as you've mentioned, globally, and the hunt for talent is going to be of a global nature.
Absolutely, and even more so today. So we're at this unique point in the evolution of the Australian market where the US unemployment rate is now lower than the Australian unemployment rate. Extraordinary when we think they were at 10% only 5 years ago. So we now see the Australian talent is going to be exposed to international players coming to the Australian market, trying to take our best and brightest again. I've seen that playing out anecdotally over the last 6 months.
So is it very competitive at the moment?
Increasingly so, and I think the Australian corporate environment is not prepared. They've been complacent now in that post-GFC environment where there just was not the global competition for talent that there was in 2007. HR leaders and CEOs now need to prepare their succession plans for a fundamental change and some material disruption in the Australian employment market.
That's a great point. Jason, how do you attract the top talent in a global marketplace if it's not purely on remuneration? Are there other factors involved that can get you and retain, I suppose, just as importantly, retain your top talents? Absolutely.
Well, the top talent are smart, and they're going to be looking for great organisations in great segments that are high growth. And we know there are some dying segments and industries. The really smart talent is looking to those areas, some of the digital areas, some of the analytics areas, cyber security. They're looking to some of the health and life sciences areas that have got huge growth opportunities, and that means opportunities for them to learn and grow and of course be remunerated well. And the great organisations are ensuring they've got great culture. And again, to my point, Australian organisations now need to make sure that they've got their talent management at a top 5 priority, not sitting further down the page if they're going to succeed and have that competitive advantage around talent.
How far behind are we, do you think?
Well, you know, in many respects, we've been performing so well that we've had the luxury of being able to focus some discretionary spend on talent.
Yeah.
But I think it's more a complacency than a lack of investment. So, you know, I think boards and CEOs and management teams can actually just ratchet up their focus on this issue and actually be well prepared. And
do you think that there is a realisation and an understanding of that now, particularly in large corporate Australia?
No, I think that's where there's a degree of complacency. I speak to chairmen and CEOs of ASX 50 companies every week, and I'm, to be honest, somewhat surprised about the lack of understanding of the material risk that's posed. I mean, just last week I lost a major CEO talent that was bought back by an international player. We've seen a number of our leading CEOs taken offshore to great opportunities offshore. So it's a real issue and we need to be prepared for it.
Absolutely. Look, really appreciate your time today, Jason. Thanks very much.
Thanks, James.
Jason Johnson there. We